little bit late today, for which I apologise, but I have had such a busy weekend. And today is no exception because I'm busy also right now doing this. Hi everybody, here we go. Yes, it is English Addict, and yes, we are just a few days away from that wonderful festive time that we love to celebrate and enjoy. We like to eat lots of food and hopefully get lots of nice gifts as well. Of course, that all depends on whether or not you have been naughty or nice. So here we are, we're back together again, and yes, if you haven't already guessed, Christmas is on the way. I don't know what happened there. There was supposed to be sound, but there wasn't. That's a good start, isn't it? Here we go then, yes. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? I hope you're feeling happy. I'm feeling a little tired. I woke up this morning with a stiff neck. Do you ever wake up all stiff? Well, I did this morning. I had a right pain in the neck. And I'm not talking about Mr. Steve. I had a big headache. Everything was throbbing and stiff, but unfortunately I had a little bit of a headache, for which I've taken some tablets, so I'm feeling rather nice now. Thank you very much to the codeine for going straight to my brain. So can I just say I'm not drunk, but I might appear very jolly today. But why not? Because Christmas is on the way and I'm feeling really festive. Are you ready for Christmas? I have a feeling this year that many people are not yet ready for Christmas. They are not ready yet. I'm having a lovely cup of coffee as well. So sorry for being a little bit late, but I did have one or two technical problems again. As usual, my computer decided not to work properly, unfortunately, but here we are anyway. Yes, we are back together and we have made it all the way to the end of another weekend. A very busy weekend, which I will be telling you all about in a few moments. Yes, it's Sunday. Dip 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 do a do 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 dip 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 do. Christmas is coming. Are you ready? Of course, not everyone celebrates Christmas. I know. I realise that. I do understand that not everyone follows the Christmas tradition. There are lots of other festivities that take place during the year. I am aware of that. But to be honest with you, I love celebrating whatever it is. If you have a party, if you have a celebration, and if there is lots of delicious food being served, all I can say is count me in. I will be there, definitely. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Duncan. It's a little bit different today because Christmas is in the air. Mr. Steve will be joining us in a few moments as well. He will be here earlier than usual. Oh, fancy that. And also we will be saying hello to the live chat as well. A little bit different today because let's just say the past few days has been busy for myself and also Steve. And also next week we have lots of things to do as well, lots of social engagements. We are trying to see as many people as we can next week, just in case we all go back into lockdown. So if we do, you see, we won't be able to see our friends and relatives. And also I'm going to see my mother tomorrow as well. So I will be seeing her tomorrow. Lots of things to look forward to today. We are going to take a look at our Christmas cards, the Christmas cards that we have received and the Christmas cards that have been given to us this year. All of that coming soon. But I thought it would be fun to start off by turning on those Christmas lights. So here we go. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. After days and days of preparation,
Weeks,
in fact, we are now ready to turn on the outside Christmas lights. Are you ready, Mr. Steve?
exciting!
Are you ready?
I am ready. What do I do?
We are now going to press this switch here. We are going to flick the switch.
Flick the switch.
And once we flick this switch, all of the outside lights will come on and the house will be lit with beautiful twinkling Christmas lights. So, shall we do it now?
Let's do it, Mr. Duncan.
Here we go then. Get your finger ready. We're going to count from 5 to 0. Does that sound good?
5 to 0, I can do that.
Good. Here we go then. Everybody join in as well. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. The lights are on. Let's have a look outside, shall we?
Look at it. Look at it.
That's so beautiful. The Christmas bells ring out again. For many this time is such a pain. Crowds rush to the shop in one big flurry. Those gifts to buy cause so much worry. The kids yell, I want a Star Wars toy this year. The parents sigh, those toys are too dear. The child screams, I want one, so there. The mums and dads give in through despair. So off to the store the parents trudge. A toy for their child they can't begrudge. They march to the shop, that toy they must get, knowing fully that purchase will get them deeper into debt. But that seems not to matter, for there's more to this season. To spend all that money, there is a good reason. For on Christmas morning, beneath the sparkling tree, A child opens their present, smiling with glee. The family later sit for a hot turkey lunch. The parents forget all about the credit crunch. This day is for laughter, smiles and cheer. With Grandad on the floor, yes, he's had too much beer. So why all this trouble each and every year? The stress and the rushing, the reason is clear. A child's loving smile, given so tenderly. Oh, and Christmas spending is good for the economy. We are really getting into the Christmas mood today, and I hope you are enjoying everything so far. I was a little bit late, but here he is. Here he comes, feeling all festive and hopefully looking festive. Oh, yes. He's really gone to a lot of effort today. It's the ever jolly Mr. Steve.
Hello, Mr. Duncan. Hello, lovely viewers all around the world. Billions of you watching today.
And,
Happy Christmas.
yes,
Well-
Merry Christmas to everyone who is celebrating Christmas this week and next weekend. Of course, next weekend is when it happens, for real. But I thought today, because this is the last one before Christmas, I thought we would do it today. We would have a little bit of Christmas spirit in the air.
Yes, and of course we went out yesterday with my mother, and you could see that people were beginning to look and sound and feel Christmassy. Of course, we appreciate that not everyone watching will be celebrating Christmas. And I'm only starting to get into it, Mr. Duncan, because I don't like to get feeling too Christmassy too early. What I've noticed at work this year, because of course last year we didn't really celebrate Christmas because we were all in lockdown. This year we're not. So people I've noticed at work have been getting very excited, like a month ago, putting their Christmas trees up and their decorations a long time ago. I mean, we don't tend to put ours up until much closer to Christmas because we like to. Otherwise, you sort of run out of the sort of Christmas feeling, haven't you?
That's it. Well, your sister was mentioning yesterday, your sister said that she put her tree up on the 1st of December. But I think a lot of people have this year because they couldn't wait. They couldn't wait for Christmas to come, so they decided to start it early. This is something I was talking about last week when you were absent, enjoying your Christmas songs last week.
Oh, yes.
So Steve was actually performing in a concert last weekend, so that's the reason why he wasn't with us last Sunday. A lot of people were missing you last Sunday, I have to be honest.
I was missing you too.
Yes, but the concert went well?
Yes, we had one on Saturday night and another one on Sunday afternoon, which we call a matinee performance. Matinee in the art. I don't know what matinee means, but where the word derives from. But if you have a matinee performance, it means you do that performance in the afternoon, after lunch. So my voice was a bit croaky because we had two concerts very close together, and it was nice. I love doing that. That's what I love doing more than anything else, is singing in the choir, performing. I just love doing that, and because it takes me away from all my worries and concerns.
Yes, but not for long.
All the rubbish going around and round in my head.
Okay, I'm sure everyone wants to hear this today. So we're keeping it light.
We all need. I wasn't going to explain what they were.
Yes.
I was just going to say we all need something to take our minds away from what's going on up here and our worries and things like that. And for me, it's music.
Okay. Anyway, moving on very quickly.
Moving on. So yes, we're sort of getting into it now, because I'm not working now, Mr. Duncan. I stopped working on Friday.
Yes. So Steve's got a lot of holiday coming his way. So
2 weeks.
You are having 2 weeks holiday.
Only because I haven't taken enough during the this year so far. And I looked at my holiday and I thought, oh dear, I've got to use up 7 days. Otherwise, I can't carry it over into next year's holiday. Use it or lose it.
Yes.
So, and I like to take time off at Christmas, even though you can't do much because it's cold, foggy outside, as we can see. It's murky and foggy outside. Can't do much, but it's just time to relax, to be away from the troubles of work
Yes.
and the stresses. Anyway, I've got to relax, Mr. Duncan. I've got to calm down over the next 2 weeks.
I wish you'd calm down over the next few minutes.
Well. But of course, we saw the news last night.
Did we?
I don't know if Tomek's on today.
Okay, Steve.
But
Steve,
yes.
I've got a lot of things.
I know. I
I've
was
got
just going to quickly say they've gone into lockdown in the Netherlands.
I'm trying not to mention that today.
I'm just saying,
It's Christmas. It's Christmas. Happy smiles.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, not everybody. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, well, we're not much better here, to be honest.
True.
We're not much better here in England. But enough of that. Let's just push all of that aside, forget our woes and worries, because Christmas is on the way. And for many people, it is time to have a little holiday, a little bit of food, a little bit of, dare I say, alcohol maybe. Oh, the live chat is busy already. Can I say, first of all, a big thank you to one of our regular viewers, Luis Mendez. Thank you very much, Lewis, for your lovely donation that I received at the end of last week. Thank you very much. And I am moved and touched by your generosity. Thank you very much for your lovely donation. Thanks a lot. And I do appreciate it. And yes, it will help me to carry on doing this during 2022. Another year is just around the corner. Oh, by the way, on the 1st of January, it'll be 2 years that we've been doing this.
The live streams?
No, the English Addict.
Oh, right.
English Addict. So this has been now going for nearly 2 years.
Wow.
English Addict. And we are at 180 today, episode 180. So yes, it's almost 2 years since we did our first ever English Addict, which was on the 1st of January.
So exactly 180.
Today?
Which is the highest score you can get in darts. Mm-hmm. So that's saying something. A high score in darts, 180. You've done your 180th show today.
Yes.
Wow.
180.
180. So darts are very popular all around the world. Yes, a high score for Mr. Duncan.
The highest score possible.
Yes. Actually, is it? Yeah, it is the highest one, isn't it? Yeah, you can't get any higher than 180.
You can't get any higher than 180. That's why they get so excited, you see. Can I say congratulations also to Olga? Hello, Olga. Guess what? Guess what you have done today? You were first on today's live chat.
I'm not usually here for you congratulating the first person on the live chat.
It's been a bit busy today. I had a problem with the computer, so I had to do some resetting on the computer, and then I was late by 10 minutes, and then I started up, and then, well, here we are now talking.
Monicia says, what's my favourite carol? It's Hark the Herald Angels Sing, actually.
Oh, really?
I like that one, yes, because there is a descant on the last verse. So that's when the sopranos sort of go all over the place and do lots of high singing, and they do something different than everyone else is doing. And they all love doing it. And I was in a choir many years ago, in quite a big choir in Birmingham, and they always used to because traditionally the descant is always sung by the sopranos only, but they, just for Christmas, would let the tenors sing that wonderful line that goes all over the place and very high singing. And he used to let us sing the descant in Hark the Herald, and it was a wonderful moment because normally men don't sing the descants, but we did, an octave lower, obviously. But it was great fun, and I do like that one because it really gets you going.
Yes. Well, there's nothing better than going to a carol concert, and some of the songs, some of the carols and hymns for Christmas are quite rousing. So I used to be in the school choir many years ago, and we used to go to lots of different places and perform. And we used to go every year to this place in Stoke-on-Trent, in Hanley, in fact. And there was a huge hall there, and many of the schools would come, and they would all join together, and they would form a huge choral society, and we would all sing these wonderful songs. I used to actually have quite a good singing voice before my testicles decided to go south.
Mr. Duncan does have a good voice. Well, many of you, of course, will have heard Mr. Duncan sing many recorded songs that you did in China.
Yes, well, one in particular.
Yes, Mr. Duncan does have a good voice. I've tried to persuade him for many years to join the choirs that I'm in or to do performances on stage. I think you could do it, definitely.
No.
But he has resisted, which means he's said, no, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to. He has put up, resistance.
Yes, I don't want to.
Against doing it.
I don't want to remember lines.
No.
Oof,
you prefer sort of spontaneous. Anyway, yes. So you'd be better off with something that is sort of more off the cuff, a bit like this in a way.
Well, this is why I like doing this.
Yes.
This is it. This is where I feel most comfortable. This is my comfort zone, live and spontaneous.
Oh, there we go. Tomek's on.
Hello, Tomek.
And if you've just come on, I already mentioned that because we saw it on the news, your
Yes.
Prime Minister, Mark somebody or other. I can't remember his surname.
Mark somebody or other.
Yes. Well, I've got half the word.
That's a very unusual name.
He's got a nice full head of hair, I noticed, on the television. You can't have a prime minister you can't have a bald prime minister, can you? It doesn't look good.
Don't tell Boris Yeltsin. Sorry, not Boris Yeltsin. What year is this? President Putin. Don't tell him that, because he's like a snooker ball.
Yes, but the thing is, nobody dare criticise Putin.
Can you imagine that, going up to Vladimir Putin and saying, "Hello, Baldy"? I wonder how long you would live for.
But when he came into power, he did have hair, and he's sort of lost it a bit. But it doesn't matter because he's in power now, and it's very difficult to remove him, I would imagine. But yes, I've noticed all these. There's lots of handsome prime ministers, male prime ministers around the world, aren't there, with all full heads of hair? And one of them is.
I can name one that has hair on his head, but not much underneath.
But yes, you are hard in lockdown, or in hard lockdown, I should say.
You are hard.
Yes, I was going to say.
I'm sure there are a lot of people hard.
In a hard lockdown is a very different phrase to saying you are hard in lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're in hard lockdown. And thanks for saying I'm dishy, by the way. Oh, a compliment. That's why I come on. That's why I come on here, for compliments.
He said that about me last week, by the way, as well.
Oh, I don't think he meant it.
Oh, okay.
He probably got the name wrong. He meant me. Anyway.
So Christmas.
Nice to see everybody here. Oh, Euphonium is living in the Netherlands as well.
Yeah. We do have quite a few viewers watching in the Netherlands and around that part of Europe, definitely. No doubt about it.
People want to hear me sing, so I'm not going to do that because if I do, the risk is that Mr. Duncan gets a strike. What do you call it?
Yes, they will block it because of copyright.
Copyright. As soon as there's systems in place that monitor everything you do, and if I sing a particular song, Mr. Duncan will get a strike against him.
Okay.
So we can't do that, but we can show the recorded one that we'd recorded last year. Which
yes.
Mr.
Well, there
Duncan
is a link under here. Under here, there is a link that will take you to the carol concert that Mr. Steve did last week or last year, but you can watch them as often as you want. I'm enjoying some of the comments, by the way. I'm not sure if you have been drinking out there. Maybe you have already started drinking your eggnog.
Eggnog, yes.
I love eggnog.
Shall we explain what that is?
Well, it's an alcoholic drink made with eggs, normally called Advocaat.
Traditionally taken at this time of year. Doesn't sound. Oh, excuse me. Doesn't sound very nice to me. I've got wind, Mr. Duncan. It doesn't sound very nice to me, but I don't think I've ever tried eggnog. I think you can make it yourself, can't you?
Yes, it's lovely.
Has it got vodka in it?
Yes, you put lots and lots of alcohol in it.
People keep saying you've lost weight.
Me?
Yes,
Well,
two
I have.
people have said that.
I have lost weight, that's why.
Have you verified that by going onto the scales?
Yes, well, I don't weigh myself all the time, but yes, I have been losing weight, of course, because during this year I've been eating less, I've been exercising a little bit more, not all the time, because of course I was ill for a few days, thanks to Mr. Steve giving me his horrible bug. But I'm almost better now, almost well. But we had a lovely day out. We went to see Mr. Steve's mum. We spent some time with her, and we went into town as well. And a lot of people were looking festive. Some people were not looking very happy because at this time of year, just before Christmas, a lot of people do leave their Christmas shopping to the last minute. They leave it to the very last moment. And so they go out, and what happens is they start rushing around. They hurry around. You made a funny comment yesterday, Steve, that we went past a jeweller's shop.
Oh,
and there were lots of desperate-looking men in there, all hunting for that last-minute gift for their wife or girlfriend. And they all looked a little flustered, is the word. Flustered. They looked a little worried because they were clearly rushing around looking for a gift to buy their wife or a girlfriend or mistress.
Because a lot of men, when they're going out to buy gifts for their wives, a lot of men, they see shopping as it's like a military operation.
Yes.
It is for me, right? I've got so much time and I've got to complete these tasks in this time. And one of them is obviously buying a present for a partner or a wife. And yes, it was quite funny because we were sitting having a cup of coffee and we were observing. The shop opposite was a jeweller's shop, and we could see the men. There were lots of men in there, obviously trying to get presents for their wives, and they were sort of,
They all had the same expression on their faces, looking.
About that one, do you think she'll like that one?
You see, the problem is if you are buying jewellery for a woman, she is going to expect something rather special. So that is it. Now I know some people might say, Mr. Duncan, you idiot, how dare you say that? But women do expect jewellery to be nice. You can't just buy any old piece of rubbish for your girlfriend or wife. It has to be something nice. So quite often women, ladies, will expect something rather nice if it's jewellery. And of course if it's a ring, well, I think you know, Steve, what I'm going to say. It has to be what?
Gold
And?
Frankincense?
No. Diamond.
Gold? Oh, yes. Diamonds are a girl's best
But there
friend.
has to be a diamond in there somewhere. None of that Swarovski rubbish. It's just glass. I'm going to get into so much trouble for saying that. But it is just glass. So diamonds, they say that they are a girl's best friend. And there is a reason for that.
Olga says, and Olga's very relaxed.
Good.
I bought presents last week. Now I'm calmly looking forward to Christmas.
Yes.
Because, yes, there is always a lot of pressure to Christmas. It's good in some respects. We those of us that celebrate it look forward to that Christmas spirit, that
Yes.
feeling. But the build up to Christmas can be very stressful for people because you've got work, you've got all your usual commitments. Most people are already sort of working flat out, so they've already not got very much spare time anyway. And then you've got to fit in buying presents. You've got to think, what have I got to get for that person? Oh, somebody buys you a present at work, so you've got to get them something back. There's lots of added pressure, and it can create a lot of stress. The
Yes.
build up to Christmas can create lots of stress on people. And you feel that pressure. What can I get for that person? What can I get for Mr. Duncan this year? I've just got no idea.
I don't care.
Yeah, and it creates this pressure. It does to me, and I know it does to a lot of people. And Olga's expressed that because in a way that now she's got it done, she can relax.
Yes.
All she's got to do now is wrap the presents and then give them out. Once you've done that got that last present, you just sort of relax. But going around the shops, it's because you can see all people are all sort of pushing around and getting stressed, and
But
people
what
have arguments, don't they? And fights at Christmas. It's known for Christmas is known for sort of relatives to fall out with each other because they're already stressed, and then they're forced together with all their relatives. Probably
Yes.
don't want to be.
Okay, Steve.
And you get arguments on Christmas Day.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Well, it can do. I mean, if
Yes.
it's done in the right way, then hopefully not.
No, that's it.
But you've just got to be aware, I think, that you're probably more stressed than usual, having that extra pressure of sorting out presents and who am I going to visit, who am I going to upset, when can I wrap these things, getting a card, has it got the right words in it? And I think you've got to be aware that you are stressed, and therefore you've got to sort of make allowances for the fact that you might sort of suddenly lose your temper over something, like somebody on the road might do something.
Like you did yesterday.
Yes, I
Steve
lost my temper yesterday.
Steve lost his temper on the road yesterday, and it scared Steve's mother because she was sitting on the back seat of the car, and then suddenly Steve started shouting, screaming, honking his horn. He slammed the brakes on. He was thumping
It's already stressed, you see.
thumping the steering wheel.
I know, I just totally lost it.
Yeah. Anyway, enough of
Just
that.
like that, I
We're tr-
snapped.
Let's keep it happy.
I know, but it's funny,
It's hilarious.
But when people do stupid things at junctions,
Anyway, Steve.
You know.
Steve, this is not why we're here. We're not here to complain. Everyone already has problems. They don't need to hear our problems.
yeah, but it might make them feel better to know that we've got problems, and to laugh at our problems
Yes.
will relieve their own stress of their own
Yes.
problems.
Well, the fact that the view count keeps going down is probably
it's going up,
not
it's
the
going up,
reason.
Mr. Duncan. It's going up.
Anyway, Steve,
Right.
Steve, just take a little moment. Today we have some lovely things to show you on this lovely live stream
Yes.
where everything is lovely and Christmassy. Christmas is in the air. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? As Steve mentioned, it's foggy outside today. That's the reason why we have a different background, because there is fog covering everywhere, the whole landscape.
Yes.
So behind me, that is the garden, but it's not the usual view out of the window, unfortunately.
Thick
So we're going
fog.
to look at some cards.
Oh, I thought you said cars. I thought we were going to look at cars.
No,
You got me all excited then, Mr. Duncan.
we're going to look at some cards. Cards.
Christmas cards.
Christmas cards. Not Christmas cars.
Yes, Autumn. Autumn says, I do not like religious celebrations. Yes, well, of course, the great thing about Christmas is you can celebrate Christmas without having to think at all about religion if you don't want to.
Well, I think most people don't think about the religious aspect.
Well, that's it, because
It's
we
all
know
about It's all about food, gifts, and
the economy.
Well, food and gifts
It's all about the economy.
for the average person. I mean,
Yes.
for the average person, it's food and gifts and getting drunk.
Yes.
Basically.
I'm
That's
sure
what
a
it's-
lot of people
I
will be
think so.
doing that.
So we are going to look at some Christmas food that we often eat at this time of year. And this is our own food that we're going to show you right now on the screen. So prepare yourself, Mr. Steve. We are going to...
I don't think I did Palmyra. If I did, it was unintentional.
What's that?
No, I didn't use the middle finger, Palmyra,
Oh.
in my road rage incident.
Oh, I see, yes. You didn't flip the bird.
No.
That's what they say, you see, in American English. There you go, you see. Although in this country, in England, it doesn't matter because what we have the two fingers, don't we? So here we have two fingers that we put up.
Yes.
But in America, in the United States, it's the middle finger. There it is.
It's you can't show it on television, can you?
No, it's hilarious that American television, they can't even show a person flipping the bird with their middle finger. Even on a cartoon, they have to censor it. That's crazy.
And yet, yes, we don't know why.
But here we have the V sign. So it's two fingers, and then you open them like that, and then you stick them.
Oh, well, yeah.
So that's our version, isn't it?
That's our yours
Yes.
version of the middle finger.
In fact, it's a little bit more.
I think it's got sort of something to do with the French, hasn't it?
Yes.
So we've got to be careful.
I think it's actually fudge off, is what it's saying. Like that.
Yes.
The other way around is okay. You can do that. So that's Winston Churchill.
V for victory.
With his victory. But the other way round, if you turn it round, it's quite offensive. So now you know, never do that in the UK.
All right.
So we have some Christmas food, Mr. Steve. Are you ready? Will it make you hungry, I wonder? Oh, Addie. Hello, Addie. Addie approves of the background. So, yes, it does look a little bit Christmassy.
What is it exactly, Mr.
It's just the
Duncan?
view out of the window.
Oh, right. Blurred slightly.
Yes. So it's the view right out of the studio window because there is no distant view because there is fog covering everywhere. It's completely thick with fog. So let's have a look at some food, Steve, because to be honest with you...
People are already talking about food.
Yes.
Yes, Euphonium, who, as we know, is residing or living, as we could say, residing in the Netherlands somewhere. They did say, but I can't go back now. Scotch whisky is what they are going to be drinking on New Year's Day, which, of course, is another... We all celebrate New Year's Day, don't we? That's the one thing the entire world celebrate, I think.
Yes.
The start of a new year. So even if you don't celebrate Christmas, you can celebrate New Year.
Can we just agree on something? Can we all just agree that 2020 and 2021 were the crappiest years ever? Can we? Now, I know what you're going to say, Mr. Duncan, but what about the Second World War? That wasn't very nice. Well, I agree with that, yes. That was pretty horrible, but I'm on about in recent times. So can we just agree that 2020 and also this year were really crappy? So let's hope, Steve, hope. That's all we have nowadays. That's all we have, Steve.
That's all we've ever had.
We only have hope nowadays. Let's hope that 2022 will be a little bit better.
Hope, faith and charity.
Yes. Charity is always the most important, apparently.
According to something. Christina says, I like sending Christmas cards. Yes, well, yes, it is. Well, yes. I like to receive them, but to write them out, I find quite stressful because it takes like half a morning. But I cheated this year, Mr. Duncan.
Did you? Why?
I cheated because I did it during work time.
Oh, okay. That's a good thing to admit to.
Yes, so while I was phoning up customers and having to wait in queues,
okay,
I very cleverly thought, because normally I'm reading a car magazine.
Okay, this is great.
When I'm trying to get through to customers.
This is a very strange way of handing in your resignation.
No, well, I have to phone customers because I'm in sales, and quite often you have to wait a long time on the phone. listening to all those tunes and the various recorded messages that are on there.
Yes.
And 3 or 4 minutes can pass until I get through to the right person. So normally I'm sitting there reading a car magazine, Mustang Weekly. But no, this year I thought I'm going to write a Christmas card out during each time I have to wait on the phone. And do you know what? Do you know what, Mr. Duncan?
I don't know
Over
what.
2 days, I managed to write out 26 Christmas cards.
Is that all?
During the time that I could have otherwise wasted reading about car magazines. I wrote all my Christmas cards, and I feel very pleased about it.
Good.
Because normally I do like an intense 2 or 3 hours where I'm writing them all out and trying to think of things to put in the cards. Oh, and it's usually, hope you're well, we must meet up in 2022.
Well, there isn't much you can say in a Christmas card when you think about it.
The number of
What
times
can you say? Hello, happy Christmas, best wishes. There isn't really much you can write in a Christmas card that's original.
Hope you've had a good year.
Yeah, that's a stupid thing to say.
Hope you are well.
No one's had a good year.
And I've stopped putting now to people that I sent Christmas cards to for 20 years but have never seen in that entire time. We must meet up in 2022. You put that in and you never meet these people. How many times do you put that in a Christmas card? Oh, we must meet up.
Yes.
And you've sent them a Christmas card for decades and you've never seen them.
No.
So it's a meaningless statement, so I've stopped putting it.
No. Well, that's the point I just made. There is only very little you can put in a Christmas card. Best wishes, have a happy new year, peace on earth, and love to all women, men, and small furry animals. Shall we have a look at some food?
Definitely.
Steve.
Am I going to run more? Probably, says Magdalena. Thank you. I probably will, to run off all the food.
Yes.
We don't want Mr. Duncan to go backwards in his weight-losing programme.
I'm not going to get fat.
So,
I've lost weight already today. People have said, Mr. Duncan, you look so slim.
Yes.
And that's because I am. I'm losing weight.
But you could undo all the
Yes.
good that you have done.
Okay, Steve, that's very negative.
I'm going to slip laxatives into Mr. Duncan's food so that he loses weight.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time there's been piles of poop in here. It wouldn't be the first time.
Food, Mr. Duncan. Yes, well, we're nicely onto food.
Yes.
Oh, Christina, crepes with Grand Marnier and orange. Oh, I like the sound. Were they hot crepes?
Yes.
Talking of crepes.
I often have a hot crepe.
Yeah, that's true. Grand Marnier, yes. Isn't that orange-flavoured liqueur?
It is. It's quite nice, actually. It is actually. I've tried it. It is actually quite nice. Talking of food, Steve, I want to get these on the screen.
Right.
I'm not planning to stay here very long today.
Why not?
Well, no reason.
Your headache.
I've got a bit of a headache. I'm not feeling 100%. Here we go then, Steve. So here we have my magic camera. Look, there it is, just to prove.
Oh, I see.
You didn't even notice. There's a whole camera here rigged up. And Steve hasn't even noticed it.
But the thing is, there's so much stuff in here. One extra thing I wouldn't notice anyway.
Yes. So
we're showing off there, Mr. Duncan.
So we've got some food. Anyway, Steve, it's all right. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
But I'm just,
We're not showing off. It's just the
you
food.
You don't normally show brands. You like to cover up the brands.
I didn't have time. I was in a bloody hurry. Anyway.
Mince pies.
Mince pies is one of the things we often eat. So Steve got these, and as you know, if you know our live stream very well, you will know that we don't, or I don't, like mince pies. Steve likes them. He likes them. I don't like them.
Shall we just say what they are in case anybody watching who hasn't seen that before? So they're pies with a sweet pastry, and inside is not mince as in meat mince. It looks a bit like meat, but in fact it's a combination of currants and raisins and dried fruit and orange peel and sugar, and it's a bit like a Christmas cake, a small version of a Christmas cake, because the ingredients are very similar inside. Dried fruit with sugar, lots of sugar, and Mr. Duncan doesn't like it. It's an acquired taste.
Yes.
Not everybody likes it, not everybody likes Christmas cake because it's a heavy sort of sticky, and I love dried fruit.
I just like the taste and the texture. It's all sticky and it goes solid in your mouth.
And I will be having those with custard,
Okay.
custard with a little dash of brandy in it. And I shall pour that on and have that on Christmas Day.
So that's what Mr. Steve is having. I've already given away what's next, but I will show you anyway. Next we have, this is for me. We couldn't have Christmas food. This is something I haven't eaten for a very long time. I haven't had these for ages. So I thought, because it's Christmas, I thought I would treat myself to some Jaffa cakes. But you might notice also, it's not just a few Jaffa cakes, it's actually 30. 30.
Just hand me the box a second, Mr. Duncan.
No, you can't have them. I know what you're going to do, you see.
I'm going to count the calories.
No, don't do that. No, don't take the fun out of everything. So I have my Jaffa cakes here, ready to be eaten over Christmas.
To console yourself.
And as you know, I love Jaffa cakes, but this year I haven't been able to eat them because I've been losing weight. So I thought I would treat myself in a very little way to give myself a little treat at this time of year.
Yes, it's mince pie, M-I-N-C-E.
Yes.
Not mint.
Yes. Mince.
Which is a different thing, yes. Yes, if you like Christmas cake, which is a heavy fruit cake, then you will like mince pies.
Yes.
If you don't like Christmas cake, you probably won't like mince pies because they're sort of similar, aren't they?
They have similar ingredients.
Similar ingredients.
And sometimes also they can have alcohol in them as well. Quite often.
That's right. Well, yes, and you tend to, yes. So Christmas pudding is basically what's inside a mince pie, but bigger, with sort of fat and all the dried fruits and everything. And then you pour your brandy on top and light it.
Yes.
And you get this blue flame. It's the traditional Christmas pudding. But mince pies are basically smaller Christmas puddings with pastry on the outside. And because I wouldn't eat a big Christmas pudding, I buy these smaller ones. These are particularly posh ones because they're, organic. But, they're all butter. I saw that they're all made of butter, so they'll be really rich and tasty, and I shall look forward to that. That's as an alternative to having a Christmas pudding. It's a sort of, because a whole Christmas pudding, Mr. Duncan doesn't like it, so that's my alternative.
Yes. So
yours is the Jaffa cakes.
Yes. I will be having Jaffa cake on Christmas Day. Not really. I have something else. I have a lovely chocolate sponge for my Christmas Day meal, or my dessert after the main meal. And finally, it would not be Christmas without crackers, biscuits and cheese. I always think of biscuits and cheese at this time of year. It's strange, isn't it? Because you wouldn't imagine that cheese and biscuits would be something you would think about. But I always think of cheese, and there are many different types of cheese that you can have at this time of year. And of course, you have to put the cheese on something. You have to put the cheese on some biscuits, and there you can see there is a selection of biscuits in this box.
Just hover over that one on the corner there, Mr. Duncan, because they go back, they keep going. That's the one, because as you can see on that one, there is a particular type of cheese on that biscuit, and I always love to have that at Christmas.
Is that Stilton?
Yes, it's Stilton, or you can call it blue cheese. It's a bit like cheddar, but it's got like that blue is a fungus that grows in the cheese, and it gives it a very distinctive flavour. And I always associate that with Christmas. It's a bit like Stilton blue cheese, and I like to have that on a biscuit, and I like to have it with an apple as well, because apples and cheese seem to go well together. And I feel as though I'm counteracting the unhealthy fat in the cheese with a healthy, sweet apple. But yes, blue cheese is very... I don't know why, it's just Christmassy. I think it's probably because my father always used to buy Stilton or blue cheese at Christmas. And so I associate that with this time of year. But I only eat it at Christmas.
Good. So there is an example of some of the things we might find ourselves eating at this time of year. We're going to take a little break so I can have a drink of water. And then we'll be right back afterwards. We have an excerpt from one of my full English lessons coming up now. And then we will be back with more of this. Do you ever find yourself stricken with shyness? Do you ever feel shy? Would you describe yourself as a shy person? It would be fair to say that we all feel a little shy from time to time. There are certain situations where shyness might affect you. Perhaps you are meeting someone for the first time. Even worse, perhaps you are about to meet many people who you don't know. They say that loneliness is a crowded room, and for a shy person, this is very true. We often equate nervousness with being shy. You might not know what to say in certain situations, which can lead to the appearance of being shy. A lack of confidence in certain situations can lead to an attack of shyness. We often position shy alongside awkward in a sentence. A shy person might be described as apprehensive, bashful, coy, retiring, and timid. A shy person might find themselves being accused of being antisocial or standoffish, as their silence can sometimes be misinterpreted as arrogance or conceitedness. I know this because it has happened to me. I can sometimes be quite shy in certain situations, which can lead to some people asking, "What's the deal with your friend Duncan? He won't speak to anyone. He seems a bit arrogant to me." No, I'm not being arrogant or stuck up or conceited. I'm just a little bit shy. That's all. Have you ever taken part in a contest or competition, and after the result or winner has been announced, you feel cheated? You find yourself thinking that perhaps the winner was chosen for a reason. Perhaps you felt that the competition was rigged or fixed. To rig something means to arrange a situation in such a way that the result is assured. To rig something is to cheat and fix a game or contest to go one particular way. For example, in a talent show, the winner might turn out to be a relative of one of the judges. This might lead people to think that the contest was rigged or fixed. In sport, a boxing match can be rigged so as to allow people to place heavy bets on the winner. One of the boxers taking part in the match is paid to take a fall so as to ensure that the other one wins. Almost anything can be rigged or fixed so as to give someone an advantage or a definite chance of winning. The world of English is indeed a fun and exciting place to be, but it can also be confusing for those learning the language. Some English words especially can create confusion and lead to mistakes being made. A good example of this confusion is the similarity between the words momentum and memento. They seem to be related, but in fact they are not. In physics, the word momentum relates to the quantity of motion of an object based on its mass and speed. That is to say, how heavy and how fast it can travel is related to the amount of energy it can create. This energy is classed as potential, which relates to what the object can do. For example, the weight and speed of a rolling rock will give you its potential energy value. The movement is its momentum. The force and thrust created is called impetus. Movement is impetus. Momentum can also relate to the driving force or impetus of a course of events, how one action or event can have an effect on other things. The size of the effect and how long it will last relates to its momentum. The discussion of a controversial topic will gain momentum as more people become involved. The word memento refers to an object that has been kept as a reminder of a past event. A memento is a souvenir. It is something that has been put aside as a treasured possession. A keepsake is a memento. A photograph taken at a special event can be a memento. Something bought during a trip to a particular place is a memento. So as you can see, the words momentum and memento are very different indeed. I have to say, I love this time of year. Everything is so festive. It's very hard not to be happy during this time of year, I think so. Would you like to have a bit more? I love Christmas so much. I can't get enough of it, everyone. It's English Addict wishing you a very Merry Christmas wherever you are in the world. We are here once again.
We're back.
We're back, everyone. Now, we have some Christmas cards to show, I believe.
We do, yes. We've got to share. We always share our Christmas cards every year just to show, even though people are talking a lot about the various liqueurs that they like to drink over Christmas. Chartreuse is one that I remember my father having. Amaretto. We've got lots of suggested liqueurs that people do like and could be drinking this Christmas. Mr. Duncan, shall I go? Mr. Duncan isn't feeling very well today, so shall I go through the cards, Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
I'll go through some of the cards and show you some of the delightful cards that we've been sent by, I'd like to say from people that watch us, but because you don't know where we live, you can't send us a card. So here's a very traditional one, and I'm sure Mr. Duncan will return very shortly to join us. So there we go, a Christmas tree. And of course, I like to look at the quality of the cards that people send, because that gives me an indication of what they really think of me. So this is a very high quality card, even though it is from a fairly mainstream supermarket. I can see on the back it says Tesco, but I'm not going to be snobbish. It's actually a very nice card, as you can see, and I'm hoping to get lots of Christmas cards. I could use Mr. Duncan's fancy camera, but I don't know how to operate that, so I shall just hold it up like this. Now let's see who this is from. Well, this is from this is from a friend of mine called Lawrence that I went to college with many years ago, and his wife Mechteld, and in fact Mechteld is from the Netherlands. So we went to their wedding in Amsterdam probably 30 years ago.
A long time ago.
Probably around 30 years ago, and they have 2 children. We've never seen the children because we've never seen them since they got married. And that's a case in point of when I used to say every year, oh, we must meet up in such and such of whatever the year was. And we haven't done yet, but we're hoping to. In the future. They actually live in the UK. They don't live in the Netherlands. But it was a lovely wedding that we went to.
It was.
Many years ago. I remember one thing I remember specifically about that trip was trying to get, one of the things was trying to get back on the aeroplane to get back to the UK, because I was at work the next day.
We were late.
We only just got onto the aeroplane.
We actually held the aeroplane up.
We did. We were in the days when you actually literally, we just ran through the airport and with our bags and got onto the plane with our bags. You can't do that anymore. And everyone gave us a dirty look because, or when I say a dirty look, they were... they were, let's just say, angry that we were late onto the plane.
We were holding the plane up. It couldn't take off because of us.
Because of us, yes. We held it up because we're so important. Even 30 years ago, we were so important that they had to wait for us to be on the plane before they could take off.
Can I just tell you what's just happened? I wasn't going to tell you, but I just became very unwell. I went into the garden and I vomited.
Yes.
A few moments ago, I just ran into the garden. I wasn't feeling great.
No.
I think I've taken too many tablets for my headache, and it's made me sick. And I went into the garden and I've just vomited.
Have we got a camera to see the vomit?
No one wants to see my vomit.
We could put a camera on that and no? I thought we got cameras everywhere around the garden.
We don't have a vomit cam.
So you might, if Mr. Duncan starts to fade,
Yes. I
You
look
may have me
white.
only.
What's happened to me? I look pale.
that's the extra bright lights that you have on, Mr. Duncan.
Okay.
So I've got to be very careful not to upset Mr. Duncan. Yes, I think you took one too many strong painkillers, and then a cup of coffee, and up it came.
Yes.
I don't think that's ever happened.
I don't think I've ever vomited during a live stream. A lot of viewers have. Watching us, a lot of people have thrown up.
Tomek says that his Dutch friend is called Lawrence.
Isn't that strange? Maybe it's a common name.
Maybe. Well, is his wife called Mechteld? I haven't pronounced that correctly, I know.
Maybe you know them. Maybe
And
you
do
know
they-
our friend.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
It would be incredible.
That would be amazing. But then Tomek is saying that this friend is Dutch. So Lawrence, my friend, is actually British. But his wife is Dutch.
Mm.
We say Dutch. Lawrence, maybe that's a name that's popular in the Netherlands. We don't know. It would be nice to know. But that would be amazing. Next card, Mr. Duncan. So that is from a mainstream supermarket, but it's quite high quality. So I will give that a nice tick.
It's a charity card.
It's a charity card. People like to send charity cards because, a certain small percentage of the money that you spend on the card goes to a charity. That is on the back of the card. And that is signalling to the people that you send the card to, look, I'm a virtuous person. I support this charity. Aren't I a good person? I'm being cynical, but that is sort of, if you don't send a card that's a charity card, then maybe people are judging you that you are not a particularly charitable person.
I've never vomited in a Santa hat. I've never vomited in a Santa hat
It
before.
was a sight to see.
It's bizarre. That was so strange.
How are you feeling now? Are you feeling any better?
I don't feel great. I feel like I'm having a cold sweat. But I know what it is. It isn't the flu. It isn't anything serious. I think it's just I took 2 codeine tablets to get rid of my headache. But I think it's reacted with my stomach and also my body as well. And I had to run into the garden and vomit.
Connell says you are using a very nice idiom. You are feeling under the weather
Phew, I feel
today.
I feel right under the weather.
Well, I will look after you later. I bet if I was to suggest to you now that you eat lots of chocolates, that would make you feel worse. Would it?
Suddenly I don't feel like eating anything.
Well, if you say to Mr. Duncan, eat some chocolate, and he resists, he's not feeling well. Actually, we had some chocolates last night and they made me feel ill. The first time I've eaten chocolates for a long time, and I actually felt ill in the night. So, yes, okay. Next card, Mr. Duncan. So we've established that one ticks a lot of boxes when it comes to, is it a nice card to receive?
Yeah, so there's a lot of boxes under the tree.
That's right.
Here we go, another one, Steve. Oh, I don't know how long I'm going to last. Oh, I think this one might be from your sister.
That's yes. So if it's from my sister, we know it's going to be high quality. It's going to be artistic, and just quality.
Yes.
And we can see from that. And let's have a look at the make on the back. Now, what's the make of that? Yes, that is a high quality make of card. Is it? Just go a bit to the bottom there. Woodman something or other. If you send those cards in the UK to your family and friends, Woodman Stern, that is a high quality, expensive card. So you are saying you are worthy of the money I have spent on this card. And let's show an example of a card that if you received it, you might think, that's a cheap, nasty card, and they don't think much of me.
Okay.
Let's look for one that is maybe at the lower end of the spectrum when it comes to card quality.
Is that a good example?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
I think so.
It's fairly basic, but I think that's pretty. I think that looks rather nice.
I'm not being a card snob. I'm sort of, I'm being a bit humorous here as I say it, but you do tend to, I'm sure you do, everybody looks at the cards. Let's have a look at the back. So traditional scene, fireplace,
Yes.
Christmas tree. Let's see where that card comes from. Any guesses?
It's another charity card.
Oh, it's a charity card.
Yes, lots of lovely charities there.
How many charities in there? Let's have a look at some of those charities.
I can't believe you were criticising that, but
But
there's
it
loads
looked...
it's not cheap. You've got Make a Wish, Teenage Cancer Trust,
Yeah.
Macmillan Cancer, the Alzheimer's Society, which of course is one close to my heart because of my mother, and also Mind, which is concerned with mental health.
So a lot of charities, I'm guessing they didn't receive much money. All the sort of the 1 pence or the 1% of that card has been split into 5 charities. So they're not going to get very much each. Whereas I would say if you just focused on one charity, they would get a bit more money. But you're sort of spreading your bets there, aren't you? So you're sending that card to somebody and you're saying, look, I support all these charities, not just one. Look how wonderful and virtuous I am.
I feel dreadful. Shall we have a look at another one, Steve?
Let's have a look at another one. Let's see how much longer Mr. Duncan can carry on. I mean, I could run this show. I couldn't press the buttons, but let's have a look.
That's nice. It's sort of snow.
That's snow. Are the people in horseback?
In horseback.
People on horseback, I should say.
Looks like it.
But people on horseback in a snowy scene, maybe from yesteryear.
What, the 1970s?
So when I say yesteryear, I mean from maybe 100 years ago. And they're doing something in the snow. What would they be doing on horseback in the snow?
Riding.
Just for pleasure, do you think? Or are they hunting? Is that suggesting that they're hunting? Mr. Duncan needs to take a rest. He does. Should I call for a doctor? No. Mr. Duncan has just had too many painkillers, haven't you?
Ironically, I have more pain now than I did before.
You're sounding a bit drunk, Mr. Duncan.
Oh, I just feel dreadful. I can't tell you how unwell I was just feeling in the garden. Oh dear, that's incredible. I came so close to vomiting on the live stream.
He did vomit outside. We're not joking when we say that. But look at the dedication. Mr. Duncan is back. Maybe you should take a rest, Mr. Duncan.
I'm still here.
You show me what buttons to press.
It would take too long.
You see, if I threaten to press the buttons and twiddle the knobs on Mr. Duncan's equipment, that might force him into feeling better.
There is no way you are touching my knob.
Because the thought of me being let loose on all this equipment would be too much for Mr. Duncan. He would instantly revive.
Anyway.
And last for the next half an hour.
Here are some nice Christmas cards. That's a nice one. It's sort of gold leaf.
Gold leaf, bit of gold,
Shiny.
Yes. Is that a pear tree?
It looks like a pear tree. It might be a pear tree. And there's a little deer at the bottom looking up.
It could be a pear tree, but there's no partridge in it, which is one of the lines from that famous Christmas song.
12 days of Christmas, my true love gave to me. Herpes.
But not strong painkillers. Right, next card, Mr. Duncan.
Another one.
I feel as though I maybe should... We'll look at that one.
Well, that's a good one. Glitter. Now, as you know, I have a problem with glitter. I'm not a big fan of glitter because it goes all over the place. glitter. But it does look nice on the camera. You see, it's reflecting the light. It looks rather nice, actually.
But when you receive a card with glitter on, you open it and you have little pieces of glitter and you can't get rid of them for weeks afterwards.
No.
Because it's on your finger, you scratch your face, you've got glitter on your face, it's on your desk, it's everywhere. Glitter can be very annoying because you think you've got rid of it all, and then 6 months later there's a bit on your desk you missed, and then you look in the mirror and you've got it on your face. That's the problem with glitter.
It seems to take a very long time to disappear.
People are getting worried about you, Mr. Duncan. Are you up to continuing with this live stream?
I've always dreamt that one day I will die on YouTube.
Oh, Mr. Duncan, don't say something like that. Oh, he's laughing.
No,
he's laughing.
I'm not today. It's not today. It's not going to happen today.
He's just had strong painkillers. I'm not sure we should still be on air, Mr. Duncan. But do you feel any better?
I am forever the professional, as you know.
That is true.
Okay, that's a big one.
That's right.
That's actually a big one.
Can I just have a quick look?
Yeah, let's have a look at that one. That's a big one.
Now this one, Mr. Duncan, where are we? This is a special card from a friend of mine at work who has made this card. So there you go. That's another signal. If you make your own card and send it to somebody, that is giving you really high credibility points, isn't it? That's giving you a lot of kudos. That's sending a message that, look, I haven't just purchased a Christmas card from a supermarket. I've gone to all this effort to make it myself. I must be a great person. I'm being a little cynical. But this is a photograph of the inside of my friend's house.
So this is actually their house?
This is actually their house.
Those giant baubles, they're huge.
I know. I'm not sure about those. They could have been added on afterwards. But
because it might bring their ceiling down.
And look inside, there's a photograph that they took of a robin.
Isn't that lovely?
In a tree in their garden. So
we'll put that on the overhead camera. Let's see what we can do there.
It's a little blurry. I'm sure Mr. Duncan would have done a much better job.
Yeah.
But nevertheless,
there it is.
We appreciate the fact that this person, this friend of mine at work, went to a huge amount of effort to make this card herself using photographs from inside her house and outside her house. And then she sent those photographs. We asked her, how did she do it? Because there is a website you can go to make your own cards, and you send them the photographs and they construct the card out of the photographs, and then they print them off and send them to you. She said it was actually cheaper than buying Christmas cards from a supermarket.
I just love the fact that is their actual Christmas tree.
That is their actual Christmas tree and their fireplace.
Brilliant.
And yes, so Olga, she is quite artistic, but there are websites you can go to where you send them some photographs and they will put it together for you and then print it off and send them to you. There are companies that will do that.
Is your friend a designer?
She's very good at art.
Some people are quite artistic, aren't they? I think I am. I'm quite artistic.
I think you are, Mr. Duncan. Are you looking pale? Now, look at this one.
I like this one. Very traditional.
This is your sort of ultimate traditional religious focused Christmas card. Obviously, you have baby Jesus in the manger.
We often call it the nativity.
Nativity.
The nativity scene.
With wise men, a donkey. Everything's in there. I don't remember sheep being a focus of the nativity, but maybe.
They were shepherds.
Of course they were, yes. You're right, Mr. Duncan.
You can't have shepherds without sheep.
There we go. We've got the sheep there. There's Mary. There is presumably Joseph, and there we go. They're in a stable,
Yeah.
and no doubt those wise men will be bringing them gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
Yes.
So yes, I send cards. I had cards that I sent to people this year. I've got sort of 2 or 3 different types, and if I know somebody's sort of religious,
Mm-hmm.
I send them one with 3 wise men on, and the nativity scene, because I think that they will like that. Tomek's wife is an artist.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes. Saturino says yes. I prefer cognac. My preferred cognac is Coivasseur. Yes, I've heard of that one. And we move on. What's the next Christmas card, Mr. Duncan? There we go. You can't. There's another
robin.
Another robin sitting in what looks like a wreath. We would call that a wreath
Holly.
of holly and various other winter plants that have been formed into a wreath. They're sort of a wreath. How do you spell wreath? Is it?
WREATH.
That's it, a wreath. Something that you hang on your door at Christmas. My mother has one with lights on. It looks pretty. The neighbours go walk by. Oh, isn't that nice? So there we go.
Another winter scene.
That's just a winter scene. We need to rattle through these, I think, Mr. Duncan. Yes, that's fairly bland. We ought to give these cards marks out of 10.
Fairly bland. This is from Barry and Paul.
Don't know who they are. Sometimes you get cards. Have you noticed? Sometimes you get cards from people, and you think, "Oh, who are they?" You've forgotten who they are.
I don't know who they are.
Let's have a look. Let's have another.
We sometimes get cards from people, and we don't actually know who the people are.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, the writing. It's Betty.
Oh, Betty
Paul.
from work.
It's Betty from
So,
work.
sorry, Betty. Steve thinks your card is a bit cheap and nasty.
I didn't say that.
Oh,
It's got gold on it. It's a lovely Christmas
you
scene.
just said it's another run-of-the-mill.
I mean, Oh, yes. It's a lovely card.
It's a good way to lose your friends.
They're not watching.
No. Thank goodness. Here's another. Oh, you just mentioned wreaths. Here is another wreath.
Yes.
So quite often, traditionally, people will often hang a wreath on their door. So there you can see a wreath, which is often hung on someone's door at this time of year. Mr. Duncan looks interesting. I wish I felt interesting. So there is another one. Oh, here we go. We have.
People think I'm being cruel.
Do you want to see the abusive one?
Oh yes, now this is I've got a friend who is a sort of very artistic, and every year she writes Christmas cards to me, to us, and she actually draws those herself. And I love receiving cards from this friend, and that's a joke.
I like that. So let's get mouse bummed. But then the other mouse says, I think you mean rat-arsed.
We need to explain that.
Which means drunk.
So
So
yes.
it's a slang term that we use when a person gets drunk. We say that person is rat-arsed. But of course the other one is confusing the words. Mouse bummed, because bum can also be arse. And I'm explaining this now with my words coming out of my mouth.
Yes, so if you say to somebody, or somebody might say, well, I'm going out tonight to get rat-arsed. And if you say that,
drunk,
it means I'm going out to get drunk. But arse is a slang word for bum. And obviously they've put the word mouse in there. They've got it wrong. That the first mouse has got the phrase wrong. Because, of course, bummed means something
Bum.
altogether different as well. That has other
A
connotations.
person who's bummed is disappointed or let down.
Or
Something else.
something else. So that's a sort of hope that you can get that joke. And then inside, I was going to show inside. No, I won't, because it reveals. Not that it matters, but yes,
These are
Palmyra.
actually, these are our lovely friends from Chester.
Yes.
Sonia and Brent. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, so a lot of people don't send Christmas cards anymore. Palmyra is one of them. I don't send Christmas cards. Still have nice Christmas cards which have... Right, so yes, a lot of people now say, I'm not sending Christmas cards because of various reasons, and the reasons they may give are it's bad for the environment, the paper,
It seems a lot of waste.
a lot of waste, or they might say, I'm going to give money to charity instead. That's what people say. I'm not writing cards anymore. I think the real reason is that when you've done it for many, many years, it becomes quite a chore, and they're often looking sometimes for an excuse not to do it. Let's face it, none of us like doing it. Well, I don't. I'm not saying none of us do, but you can give money to charity instead. Some people do that.
Is it 4 o'clock yet?
No, but we don't have to stay on that long.
Here's a
No, Mr. Duncan isn't ill with anything. He's taken 2 very strong painkillers and they've made him ill.
I can tell you now, it's not Omicron or Omicron. It's nothing like that. There we go. Look, a festive Christmas tree with some choristers.
Choristers, there's a good word.
Choristers
Choristers, people that sing in a choir.
are called choristers.
They are, particularly if they are young. And of course, we know that young boys have beautiful voices to sing in a choir. Well, at least
I used to.
You used to have that. It's a particular quality of voice that even girls with the same pitch can't achieve that quality of sound. But, that's controversial these days, so I've got to be careful what I say. Look, what's the next one? Wonderful time. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
There's a song. It's the most wonderful time of the year. In fact, I think you sing it
I've sung that one.
on your video. On the video, the link is under here, and I think you sing this song.
I do. It's an Andy Williams hit from probably the 1960s. And it's just it's a sort of swinging, sort of happy song.
Yeah, it's jolly.
With lots of sounds of jingle bells. And if you like Christmas songs, that is a good song. And I do sing it on the link that is below this video. Where is it, Mr. Duncan? That's what they usually do on YouTube, as they go on the
That's it.
link below.
It's underneath. There is a link.
But whereabouts is the link?
Just underneath.
Oh,
Just
right.
point
Okay.
downwards. It's underneath Mr. Steve's Christmas songs.
Tom says, push the applause button to wake up Mr. Steve. Right. I think people are getting bored with the cards.
Do you mean push to wake Mr. Duncan up?
Yes. Which one is the applause? I don't know.
I don't think anyone's getting bored.
The technical side is beyond me. Has that worked? Right, shall we? I don't think you're well enough to continue, Mr. Duncan. I think I need to
Let's do a couple
put
of
you
more.
to bed.
I like this one. I like this one with the train.
That's nice, isn't it?
Yes. And there is Father Christmas going across the sky with his reindeer. Ho, ho, ho.
I don't know the significance of the train,
No.
but, it's a festive scene.
This is from
So,
2 of your singing friends, Jane and Julian. There you go.
Yes. Yeah. There we are. Okay. Right. Interesting.
What?
You don't need to worry about Mr. Duncan. Honestly, he has just taken 2 strong painkillers which have made him feel sick.
Yes. In fact,
No overdose.
no overdose.
2 was what was suggested, but
Yes.
they were a bit too strong, I think, for Mr. Duncan's
Yes.
constitution.
Yes. Because I had a horrible headache when I woke up, and I thought I need to get rid of my headache. So I took these tablets, and then I had a cup of coffee. But I think it might have been the coffee that caused the problem. But anyway, we will never forget this.
I think people really think that you should stop doing this, Mr. Duncan.
Okay.
And maybe they're right.
Hmm.
I'm not forcing Mr. Duncan to continue.
No, you're
It's
not.
getting dark outside, and we will, of course, we could always spring up with a surprise in the week.
Yes. Well, there is a lesson. There is a new lesson coming on Tuesday. Tuesday there will be a new lesson coming your way as well.
Shall we wrap it up, Mr. Duncan? And I
Okay.
don't mean the presents.
No.
I mean the live stream. If you wrap something up, it means you are wrapping up a present, but it also can mean that you are stopping doing something or something is coming to an end. You are wrapping it up.
Mm.
You are bringing something to a stop, to an end.
I hope you have a good Christmas. I hope you have a nice time with your family and friends. If you get the chance, of course, to meet them in person, I hope you have a super duper time. And I'm going to take a lie down on the floor now, right here. I'm not going to bed. I'm just going to get down on the floor right now and have a little rest.
Yes, Bamboo. Mr. Duncan took them on an empty stomach.
No, I had a little bit of toast.
Oh, right.
But then I had a cup of coffee afterwards, after the tablets. And I think that's what happened.
Mr. Duncan will be fine. So,
Yes,
yes, we're
but
saying Merry Christmas.
But at least my headache is gone.
That's true.
My
And
headache-
mine has just begun. Meaning I've got to look after Mr. Duncan, and it will be, a difficult, arduous task.
Yes, very difficult.
I'm joking. Yes. Well,
See you later.
lovely. Have a lovely Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, and we look forward to seeing you all. Well, we definitely will be here on Boxing Day,
Next Sunday, we're back.
the 26th
And
of December.
that will be the day after Christmas Day. Boxing Day, next Sunday, which is the 26th of December.
Yes.
So we will see you then. Don't forget, a new lesson will be published on Tuesday. I hope you have a good time. Thanks for joining me today. Thanks for your words of support during my moment of need. And Mr. Steve now is going to take care of me as I flake towards the floor.
You're a druggie, Mr. Duncan.
I just feel awful.
High on drugs.
I don't feel pleasant.
Oh.
This is not a pleasant feeling. I feel awful. I feel like my head is spinning around. And
Happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Mr. Duncan will be fine.
I will be fine. We will see you next Sunday, Boxing Day. We might even be outside. We might be outside. We might go maybe into Much Wenlock.
Oh, do you think so?
That would be fun.
It would be.
Yes, we might do that. We'll see what the weather is doing. If the weather is nice, we will. Catch you later, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Stay well. And if you do have some codeine, make sure you don't have a cup of coffee afterwards, or else you might be sick everywhere, like I was. And of course, until the next time we meet here, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Are you ready, Steve?
I'm ready.
Ta-ta
Ta-ta
for
for
now. Merry Christmas.